And we are back here once again with another episode of the MSK Show, and this is going to be episode 64. And in this episode of the MSK Show, I am going to be having a conversation with content creator Andrew Poletto. So what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. I'm just here living in your world, baby. I saw you online earlier. You're a gamer. I noticed that. Obviously, you're from the background and everything.
Yeah, I played video games or handheld since I was like, shit, man, second, third grade. It's been a long time. I've pretty much done everything nerd like except for tabletop RPGs. There's like some of the other big stuff people are into that I'm not into. Like I'm not into like Star Trek. It's like just it looks so nerdy to me. Looks like that was made for like sweaty losers or something like that. D&D was made for nerds in the basement. I'm like, I'm not that big of a loser. Okay. I have standards.
You and I come from two completely different generations because I don't play games at all online. I couldn't even tell you how to even start one. My
Really?
last time I played a video game was probably a Nintendo or the Atari 2400 back in the day. I'm an old man compared to you. I don't play games at all.
Really?
Online.
You throughout your life, you never just got another console and started playing more games? No?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
That's crazy.
Nope. Never have.
All right. So since this is your first time here, if you ever come on for a second, third appearance ever again, this will be already done and out of the way. So how was your life growing up?
How was my life growing up? It was a completely different than yours. I grew up in a generation where we didn't have the cell phones. We didn't. It was a big deal to have an answering machine in your home. Yeah, that's the age I am. Like I said, we are a generation apart.
The 70s, 60s.
I graduated in the 80s. Graduated high school in the 80s.
Wow, so you're born in the freaking 70s. That's
I was
crazy.
born in the 60s. I was born in the 60s.
65.
Man. 67.
All right, we got this.
I'm an old man. You're just a kid. I'm an old man.
You've been around for like a lot of everything that's happened over these years. So you were out since Top Gun, Star Wars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. God, I was just a kid when Star Wars came out, but Top Gun, but that was the movie, baby. That was 1985, if I recall, the original 85 or 86. Yeah. Something like that, original Top Gun.
Did you end up liking the sequel that came out a few years ago?
I loved the sequel that came out. It was
great. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
And it was one of the last movies I actually saw it at the theater. Where I live, there's a theater maybe 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away. It's a little mom and pop theater, $5 for a movie. I think they raised it to $6 now. And you can get unlimited popcorn and drinks for another $10. So for less than $20, I can see a movie and unlimited popcorn, unlimited drinks.
Yeah, having the smaller chain theaters where you live are a little bit better than the bigger ones because
absolutely, yeah.
We have a smaller one that we just got recliner seats. We were using ghetto trash seats since I was like 5-6 years old. It's like a mega ghetto theater we had here. Like if I go out like 30 minutes down the hill, they have the bigger like the Cinemarks and the AMCs. I like those theaters too. I really do. The experience is great, but you can tell by people that don't go to the theaters anymore. It's not like the movie quality has definitely dipped in the last decade or so, but the prices, because I was actually reading stuff online about it too. It wasn't even just the movies quality is bad, because the average person, let's be honest, they don't really look at and analyze movies like that. They go because like you're taking your daughter out, your grandkids out.
Right.
They said it's just too expensive. It's just too expensive. That's really all it is. Yep. You know, if you partook your grandkids out and your wife out, it's probably gonna cost you a good $100. Just
at least.
Yeah. Gas going. You want to eat there. Everyone's like, I'm hungry. You want to eat after you go from the movies because that's just how people are, you know?
How it is for me now is going, like I said, $20. I get movie, unlimited popcorn and drinks. I have no problem with that. And if $20 is going to bother me financially, I'm doing something wrong in my life. But because I have Netflix and also HBO Max, I'll get pissed off at myself if I go to a movie and say, well, why am I paying for HBO and Netflix?
Yeah.
So it's not the money. It's the stupidity of me having this stuff at home. Why am I going someplace else to watch a movie?
Because I think it's just human nature. You just want to get out and go out. And
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But as you see, I have a sign back here. I have two podcasts. Well, one live stream and a podcast, a fitness podcast for us old guys, and also something called Popcorn and Whiskey, where I eat popcorn and I drink whiskey online and I talk about stuff. anywhere
Mhm.
from movies to politics to sports to anything. And that's
Mhm.
when about the request that, hey, anybody want to come on live? What do you guys talk about? I talk about anything. I've for my health and fitness, I've interviewed well over 100 folks. I used to do podcasting before podcasting was a thing. I didn't know it was called podcasting, and I was
Mhm.
interviewing folks back then, even before the health and fitness world.
Yeah,
And
dude,
then when
mine were.
live stream came
I,
around,
mhm.
go ahead.
No, I liked when StreamYard became a thing.
Hmm.
You remember I used to podcast the way I used to. People don't know we do ghetto. I had to do it through Skype. I had to basically have them on the screen and minimize myself on a webcam. We were doing these things through Skype. This was terrible. God, I'm so glad programs like StreamYard exist. It makes this so much more easier.
I got one better for you. Before live stream was even a thing, before you can
Mhm.
record video like this, there was something called free conference call. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not.
That's old,
It's
probably.
old. That's where I started. That's right. Free conference call. People would call in. I had people from around the world calling in, and I would record it, and then I
Mhm.
put up on. This is before YouTube. Oh, I guess YouTube existed, but they didn't. You couldn't upload just audio to YouTube.
True.
So I
Mhm.
don't even remember where I first was doing audio on my web page at the time, and I don't remember how it was done, honestly, because it's been so long ago. And I remember recording once. This was so stupid of me. I look back now, like, why did I go to all this trouble? But I was driving a good 3 or 4 hours, and at the time, you couldn't just record, or
Mhm.
maybe you could with your cell phone. I don't remember how it was done. So I made sure my laptop was charged up, and I had a headset like you're wearing, but not as
Mhm.
fancy as yours. Real cheap ghetto, like you said before, ghetto headset.
God,
Plugged it
they're
into my
bad.
computer and just recorded myself talking to my computer for a couple hours. So then I went back and I edited it. I think I was using Audacity at the time to edit it, but at that time I couldn't have anybody call in because there wasn't the thing as connecting your laptop to the internet because you're driving. Now,
Yeah.
because this
Oh
is
God.
yeah.
Things have gotten way better. I'll say things have like just as far as like the technology side and make content and put it out more efficiently, so much
Mhm.
better. Good
Oh
Lord,
yeah.
having to do all that stuff back in the day. I got a laptop at some point because I was just recording videos off my ghetto Metro PCS phone back in 2015 when I first started. And when I got a laptop, things were like, oh, this is so much better. And then when I got a PC, it was just so much better at that point. I'll also put this: if you're gonna go get into content creation, start out small, maybe have a
Mhm.
laptop. Laptops are way better and stronger compared to the one that I
Absolutely,
used to
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
There's laptops you could buy for like good $300 that'll last you just about as good as
Oh,
a
yeah.
decent PC.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I would tell people save up for a PC. It's gonna do you so much wonders in terms of like output of content you can make. The other thing I'll ask you is, after growing up in life, did you know go into high school and you went to college, right? Or you didn't go to
Correct.
college?
Yes.
You
I
did?
went to St. Joseph's College in a little small town of Rensselaer, Indiana, yeah. I went
Okay.
there to play baseball, then I realized that I wasn't good enough to play
So you
college
weren't Babe
baseball.
Ruth.
I wasn't even remotely Babe Ruth. No, I was nowhere near anywhere where I should have been playing college ball, nowhere near. But, I thought coming in high school, my dream was to be a professional baseball player. But I quickly realized that, when I was sitting the bench and even sitting the bench during practice, I think this isn't going to be for me. So after a couple of years, I didn't play anymore, and because once and I don't know if you're an athlete or not.
I played a few years of tennis in high school. I remember.
Okay, did you play in college or did you go on past high school?
No, I had the same thing
Okay.
too. How would I say this for people? I knew I could have, if I put more effort into it, I could have been good, but
Hmm.
I was just an insanely weirdly lazy person because I didn't think that it mattered in the grand scheme of things if I played it or not. And I
Hmm.
wasn't even like bad, I would say. I didn't have problems with any teammates. There was like one person, there's always that one guy. But
Hmm.
I was just like, you know what? I just don't. There was a certain point in school I stopped caring because I knew I was going to get out of it. And that's probably a terrible mindset to have. That's really bad. But I did take away the lessons of sports. Like I would say for any parent, put your kids in a sport. It really does teach them a lot of good things. I learned a lot of great things
Oh,
from playing
absolutely.
tennis.
Absolutely. The level from going to high school to college, especially in baseball. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I would assume for all sports, but baseball is still the same whether you're in high school or college,
Mm-hmm.
fundamentally. But skill level, I mean, there is a huge gap in there, and it's a whole different ball game once you get up to the
Mm-hmm.
college level. And this is like a D3, D4 type school when I was playing. It's a whole different level. I can imagine what the D1 schools were. Holy moly.
So who's the baseball team you root for?
I this is funny because I was actually born in Toronto, Canada. So I root for the Blue Jays, but I couldn't tell you any player on there because I don't follow baseball as much as I should. I love to watch it, but I don't pay attention to
Yeah.
all the people or the intricacies. I'm more watching it for the fundamentals and see how they're doing it now. And
Mhm.
that's weird of me to do. I know, but that's what I do.
Pretty sure you saw the Dodgers and the Yankees World
Yep,
Series that just took place.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep, yep.
God,
And
did you see the
it's
Yankees part of it where the one of the balls was
yes.
going in the outfield and the Yankee player grabbed the guy's shoulder and arm and took the ball out and threw it? I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was just nuts. And the same guy did that with with the Chicago Cubs back in the early 2000s. Going to the playoffs. His name
Mhm.
was last name was Bartman, I do believe, and he caught a foul ball in the late innings when the Chicago Cubs fielder could have caught it, but he caught it with his glove. He got booed, and they had to get security out of the stadium. He left. He was visibly crying because people were booing him. They ended up losing the game, and he literally got booed out of Chicago. It was just they blamed him for the loss and everything. It
Mhm.
was poor guy. They had a documentary out about him too. Poor guy. But in New York, this guy who took the ball was hailed a hero. Like what? What?
Yeah. He was a season pass holder or whatever that is. You could walk all the
Yeah,
games. And then
yeah,
they're like, we'll just throw him off for this game. He can come back for the next one. It's like, what? That you understand?
exactly.
Baseball is one of the games where you literally have to make sure your shoulder and arm are intact. Like it's very like once one of the players throws out their arm, it's almost just like game over because that's baseball truly functions of how much your shoulder is
Oh
intact and how
yes.
about good it is in condition. If you hold one of the players' arms like that in the shoulder, you could like snap like not like snap it, but sprain it in a certain way, twist it up, bend it back. Like that's no you. I was surprised that person even allowed to come back to a game.
Oh yeah,
That's
I was too. But
good God, man. And people wonder why traditional sports, especially baseball, because baseball talked about this, you know, the ratings have gone down over the years. Year on
big
year,
time.
ratings are going down.
Hmm.
And baseball's not like, okay, so football, soccer, basketball, a lot more easier to follow. I like baseball myself. I do find it entertaining, but it's more
Hmm.
entertaining watching baseball at the games itself than watching it on a TV, you know?
I used to think that when I was younger. Now, and I don't mind going to games. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't like driving home afterwards. I'm like, you know what? I could have been home the whole time sitting in my chair drinking a beer. Now I got to drive home. I can't drink till I get
Mhm.
home. So, but
So,
I'm more of a NASCAR fan. I'm a huge NASCAR fan. Love me some NASCAR.
so after college, did you end up getting married and having kids and all that stuff?
Unfortunately, no, and that just wasn't in the cards for me. I guess, and whether you believe in a higher power or not, it's irrelevant. But I always say, in God's plan at this point didn't put me in a position where I was I just don't have any kids. Let's put it that way. No kids.
I'm not gonna lie. I know like from your generation that would be kind of unconventional not to have a
Hmm.
kids or a wife. But looking
Yep.
back at how most people, I'm pretty sure you have friends and they've gone through divorces where basically they work their ass off and the
Hmm.
wife divorces them. And in some states you have a no something divorce clause where it's called, and they'll
Yep.
take the guy for their alimony and their was it child support. And I'm
Oh
like, you
yeah.
know what? Yeah, marriage doesn't sound all that's cracked up to be. A woman could literally just decide, I don't want to be with you and take everything you work for. So you go to work every day knowing you work for nothing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see why men kill themselves. That's just
Is this
hell.
a G-rated show, or can I use a
You
couple of
you
curse
do
words?
it. Yeah, you say whatever you
Okay.
want, man.
I went to a high school reunion, and I'm not going to tell you which one because I'm an old man now. And one of my high school friends was telling me, I went to a small high school, so everybody knows everybody. Okay,
Okay.
graduating class was like I think 152 or something like that. And I was in the third that made the upper two thirds possible. All right, we'll leave it that way.
Mhm.
But one of the girls was saying, "Have you ever gotten married?" I said, "No." They said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Bitch, you've been divorced twice. What's wrong with you?" I said, "Bitch, no, what the heck? You've been divorced twice."
Oh God, I love the irony of women to say
Yeah.
certain things like that. What's wrong with you? That's just what.
Yeah. And I said, "You've been divorced twice. What's wrong with you, bitch?" Yeah. What the heck? Yeah.
Oh God, like it. Like, I'm someone where I actually kind of I don't know. Maybe it's growing up while watching like superhero stuff and shit like that. I always liked being alone. I like sometimes being introverted and talking to people, but sometimes I like just waking up knowing I'm good by myself. I have
Hmm.
everything I ever need, and I worked for it. I still do currently work, but you know I don't
Hmm.
come home to some. It's not some nagging woman. I just prefer to be alone most of the time, you know?
Now, how you didn't ask how old I was. I'm not going to ask how old you were. When were you born?
1994.
94. Okay. Oh my God, you're just a
I'll be
kid.
30
Oh,
next month. I'm old now. My
oh
back's killing me.
yeah. Okay, man,
my
you're
my
so
back's done,
ancient.
man.
Yeah.
No, if I move when I was like in my 20s, I could move stuff more efficiently. If I do it at work now and I do it as hard as I used to, no, my back is telling me you better not do that again. I'll actually just go over there and lay down on my bed, like, oh my God, what did I do? So I have to make sure that I don't go as hard as I used to, because I forgot to myself, when you get older, you're going like at the pace. You're like, okay, it's not about the end of the journey. It's about how you get to so you progress through it. So I got to make sure I pace myself through stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure you've seen stuff, because you talk about a lot of stuff. You're known for a lot of things. This first thing I wanted to focus on is actually what we're just going to bring up right there: men and women. I'm pretty sure you've seen this conversation float around. Women can't find good men. Men can't find good women. Do you have any like opinions on both or one or the other about why men can't find good women at all, or the woman side of it?
I think nowadays, especially in the last 10 years, and I don't know how, if you get political or not, and I'm not trying to get political, I'm not asking for that.
You can go in any direction you want. I don't care.
Okay. But a lot of this, and I'm sure you've heard the phrase, the YouTube, the Me Too movement.
Oh,
That, in my opinion, has caused a lot of guys, especially my age, who are trying to get back in the dating world or into the dating world or something like that. We're like, you know what? We don't want to put up with that at this point. We got too much to lose. Why put ourselves in a position where a girl could say, hey, you know, he said the wrong thing to me, I'm offended, and next thing you know, you're on the evening news. And so, you know, we don't as much as I like to go out, and as much as I like to, even older than me, the phrase is chase the skirts. It's a phrase older than me. I'm just not putting myself in that position anymore. You know, first of all, I don't go out to bars anymore. As much as I like it, I just don't do it. And if I do, it's not to try hooking up or picking up or something like that. And I was deep in the world of the art of pickup, in the world of pickup back in a different life. So I understand how that all philosophy works. But I just don't do it. And I think the older you get, especially guys my age, that the last thing we want to do is go out and put ourselves in a position where, you know, somebody's going to say something, and being single, I'm always the bad guy. So, I'm not doing that.
I've noticed with women throughout my life is that, like, if a girl does something, people don't shit on them as hard as they do guys. It's guys are the ones that get shitted on harder. It's like, but it's almost like when they do something wrong, it's almost like it's good, and it just gets absolved because it's a girl that did it. And it's like that's the reason why things got as bad as they did. I'm pretty sure with the recent political election, people were very tired of all this stuff. That Me Too movement you're talking about, they told women that they don't need a man, they can do all this, that, and the third themselves. And then all these women that grew up with that in their public schools, or whoever taught it to them when they were parents, because they were just brought it on to them as far as like propaganda for like the media. All those girls now can't find a man because they still to themselves can't understand what happened to them, because I can't really blame them. They were lied to. They were literally there's girls out there that think they don't need men. If you think that, I'm sorry, you're gonna be alone. Sorry, no guy don't want to hear that.
I teach at a local high school. I'm not going to get into the details of what I teach or anything. It's irrelevant. But a couple of years ago, there was I had a study hall. I was watching a study hall in my class, and one of the girls in the study hall belched really loud. I mean, really loud. Everybody started giggling. I said, why don't do that? They said, why not? I said, because it's not ladylike. The next day, I had another female teacher come in and say, hey, you can't assume somebody's gender. You can't use the term ladylike. I'm looking at them like, are you effing serious? I can't use the term ladylike. What is wrong with you people? Yeah. Her and I haven't talked since. I said, what is wrong with you?
Of course you wouldn't. Yeah. You can't say ladylike. That's crazy.
That's what one of the teachers said. You can't assume somebody's a lady. I said, why not? I said, you know, and when they have special bathrooms nowadays in different schools because they can't assume their gender. I'm looking at him. I said, here's an easy way to do it. When you're done taking a shower in the morning, look in the mirror. If you have something sticking out, you're a he. If you don't, you're a she. All right. Enough said. It's not that difficult, folks. You know. Yeah.
God, man.
Again, not trying to do anything or make anybody mad, but it's not difficult.
Yeah, it's one of those things where girls are even now told that they have like an OnlyFans page and they do
Mhm,
like, I know what's going on. You know what goes on those things, sex
mhm,
videos and all that stuff. And then they'll suddenly think they could just find a partner and they'd be like, well, why did this guy not want me? Well, to be fair, girls don't. This is why people say men and women are equal. They're not. Men and women are not equal. I'm not talking about like
mhm,
as like a person to person. Literally, just the way that we think about information and process it is
mhm,
very different. I don't know why. That's the problem too. Women just think they're just directly equal to men. So
mhm.
whenever they get something pushed on them that's like a men-like mentality, they think it's like misogynist or racist. Like, what? This is how we generally think in a collective mindset.
Mhm,
Like no one wants to be with some town whore that's been through like 50 dudes. I'm sorry.
mhm,
Now, is there someone out there that might lower their standards for that? Sure. But that person's probably like not worthwhile either, for being honest
mhm.
here. I mean, people can tolerate what they want, but the average person is not going to tolerate that. That's going to be a deal breaker for a lot of people. It just
Which
is.
brings up the question, and I know how I would answer this. I want to ask you how you'd answer it. And
Mhm.
first of all, before I get into it, are you married?
Me, no. I've had a few
Okay,
girlfriends over the years.
okay, okay. Oh, that's fine. So, and this is a question that comes up,
Mhm.
regardless of age. Once you're married to somebody, is it fair or not fair? And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this, so don't think I'm
Mhm.
trying to trap you.
That's
I'm
fine.
not.
Mhm.
Should you ask your partner, lack of a better term, what's your body count? Is that a fair question to ask your partner or not? When
I
you're
think
if you're married or if you're or
you
dating
probably would have
somebody?
asked that before you got married, I would
Well, yeah,
assume.
okay, yeah, or dating somebody or something or whatever.
Yeah,
Do you think that's a fair question?
I think it is.
Really?
If you're a
Okay.
guy,
Yeah.
I think so. It just like I said before, it really just depends on your tolerance level. There are some guys that honestly won't care. I'm not going to shame them for it
Mhm.
because people have different levels of things they tolerate. Now, if the girl says, "Hey, I'm not going to do that anymore," and she's committed to you, and she's like trying to still maybe do an OnlyFans, I would probably say that's not worth it
Mhm.
because the thing is, girls get emotionally attached in different ways than guys do. I don't think
Right.
girls understand that.
Absolutely.
It's like the brains, for some reason, it doesn't click. Something in their brain will never click about how they actually process their emotions. Like when women see sex differently and feel about it way differently than men do.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
so if a girl is doing all that stuff, because like girls are mostly just based off their image. Girls are very like perception based, right? Because even from,
Yep.
I guess you could say, biblical days or back in the days, women promiscuity has never been looked good upon ever. Honestly, it just
Right.
never
Right.
has. And people say, "Wasn't that hypocritical? If it doesn't flow that way for guys." Well, not everything in life is going to be equal. That's just how life is. Not everything is fair. You know, like
Mhm.
like
Oh,
like
yeah.
guys almost even have it worse. Like if a guy picked up his life and was maybe homeless at one point, and he made his life better, people would still relent on that guy that he was homeless. That's the same thing with women. If you do the sex work kind of thing or the OnlyFans thing, it's the same thing. It's just a different. What's the
Mhm.
saying back in your day? Different strokes for different folks.
That was almost before my time as well.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask a girl her body count and she gets a little offended, you're like, oh wow, okay. Like just that's how you know someone's not ready for a relationship or just to date someone when they get offended at questions like that. Like if you're dating, you kind of have to look at it like I guess when I was growing up, like an interview kind of thing. You're kind of potentially interviewing a potential person you're going to give your time to because dating is time, being in a relationship is time.
Mhm.
You don't get time back. Hours go by, you're never gonna get it back. I can see why people don't date as much anymore because they don't want to waste their time. It's just not. There's another saying:
Mhm.
the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yep, 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 yep. That's your time. That's a
Dang it! Ugh.
but and I look at things completely different because
Mhm.
I don't ask body counts and and I know I wouldn't be offended if they'd ask me. I say, well, first of all, it's none of your business. I don't think it is. Second of all, I don't know. I've never kept track of it, so it's it's more than two. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
a
there's
lot more
another
than two,
thing.
but no,
Mhm.
I wouldn't even ask that question because I don't feel it's any of my business. First of all, if they
Yeah,
want to disclose it, great. I
girls
don't
will
want to put
always do
myself
it
in a
though.
position because
Yeah.
and here's the thing why I don't want to ask it
Mhm.
because whatever she answers, let, let's say it's a low number. Let's say it's two, maybe three. Okay, at my age, it's very typical two or three. Okay, I say, well, all right, only 2 or 3, but what if she tells me a 15 or 16 or 22? I'm like, wow. But then I'm thinking, she said 22, but is it really maybe 32 or 42? Maybe she's lying to me. Why would I want to put myself in a position where I'm constantly thinking she lied to me about something? So
Mhm.
that's why I don't ask that. First of all,
That's
it
fair.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. If we have a connection going on,
Yeah.
it shouldn't matter. And if the trust isn't there, I don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah. I also think it's chemistry based too. I think a reason why a lot of relationships don't work is because they're doing it mostly for like sex, which if you're a guy, that makes perfect sense. It's just
Yeah.
if you're not compatible with someone, it's gonna not work anyway. That's
Mhm.
why for me, unless I can synergize with someone and be like not so compatible, but just have some basic chemistry, I
Mhm.
just don't see it working. Because without that, everything falls apart. Without chemistry, without any synergy, it all falls apart. Because
Mhm.
like after you bang that girl out and you try to ask her what she likes, and she starts giving you the one word answers, you're gonna be like, wow, thank God I'm not with this woman long term, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but and guys don't get this a whole lot. Or I shouldn't say guys. I mean everybody. Attraction, and I heard this from somebody else. I did not make this up. I heard this from somebody else when I was doing my studying
Mhm.
of relationships and pickup artists and everything else. Attraction isn't a choice. In other words, you can't decide whether you're attracted to such and such a girl. You can find somebody attractive, but that doesn't mean you're attracted to them. If that makes any sense.
It's
I mean,
basically another form of like lust, essentially.
it could be like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the perfect girl for me, physically speaking, and was back in the day was Shania Twain, by far, without question. The late '90s, early 2000s, Shania Twain, absolutely drop dead perfect for me. Now I saw her recently. Oh, not so much. So, but she could probably say the same thing about me. But I find her attractive. That doesn't mean I have attraction for her. There's a whole there's two different things. You know, when once again we can get into that all day long, but attraction isn't a choice. You can't say you walk down the street, hey, I want to be attracted to her. You can find her attractive, but you can't say I want to be attracted to her. I want to have a
Yeah.
romantic relationship with her outside of a one night stand. Well, we're guys, of course, we're going to say, hey, I want to bang that one over there. Absolutely, yeah, yeah. We're guys, but
Yeah.
long term wise, no, 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 no. It's a whole different ball game at that point.
The other thing, I'm pretty sure you've had this in your life where this is like the most common thing for girls, where the girls you were interested in at the time, they didn't want you because you either weren't wealthy enough or you didn't have like the status that they wanted. So they went
Mhm,
after guys that they knew they couldn't get in the end, but they
mhm,
did it because they were chasing this dream.
mhm,
Then situations flip. Those girls age out a little bit because girls hit a wall when they get older. And now you're that guy that they want, but they didn't want you when you were trying to come up. And then
yep,
now you're like, I don't want you now. I got options, you know?
mhm,
A
yep,
lot happens for girls. Girls sometimes just don't see things for what they are. And it's kind of, man, this is a weird one. I'm pretty sure you heard about growing up, the standard thing. Some
mhm,
people don't understand the standards thing is not, I'm not saying lower your standards, but some people try to shoot for things that are just almost impossible. They're
yep,
just, it's not realistic, right? And then girls were like, I don't want to settle for the guy that works at like a Stater Brothers or a grocery store or Walmart. Why
mhm.
not? If he goes to work every day and he pays his bills, what does that matter? Like, what? Are you
Oh, yeah. Oh,
because they don't want to
absolutely,
go,
yeah,
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 they don't want to go up to the parents and be like, I dated a guy that worked at a grocery store. It's like, what does that mean anything? That's like girls are just are perception based. It's what you see on the outside. They really want that surface level to look flawless. It's they'll throw away potential partners, great guys, great people for them, all because of status. That's
mhm,
it.
mhm. Now, at my age, uh, using the example you just used,
Mhm,
if I was a grocery store clerk, and
mhm.
not putting that profession down at all,
Oh
because
yeah,
there's a
no,
lot of that's a profession, fantastic profession. But at my age, if you're still a grocery store clerk and didn't work your way up or down or someplace else, the ambition level isn't there,
yeah,
and that's a non-attractive trait for no
yeah,
ambition level.
yeah.
At
Girls
your
like
age, being a
drive.
grocery
Yeah.
store clerk, completely different. And if
Mhm.
somebody says, well, I don't want to date you because you're just a grocery store clerk, well, you dodged a bullet that one because you don't want to date that person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so keep that in mind.
girls
Yeah.
find drive and determination attractive to them, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, the other thing that you're interested, you as you put your name, fitness.
Yes.
You maybe you can answer this because it blows my
Sure.
mind.
Okay.
if someone says if a guy tells another guy go to the gym because it'll be greatly beneficial for you, people see that as like toxic masculinity. When in reality, going to the gym is fantastic. It's a great thing.
This term toxic masculinity, it's only come out in the last couple of years, and I still have yet to figure out what exactly it means. I think it's more of a it's a term that certain class of ladies, as I'd say, throw out there, and I guess a certain class of men, because they don't want to deal with it. I don't think going to the gym is quote unquote toxic I can't even say the word toxic masculinity. I think going to the gym is trying to better yourself. Whether it's because you want to look better at your age, of course, you want to go to the gym because you want to get the body, you want to get the biceps going on. More my age is more okay. I want to get off medication type thing. So it's two different things, but going to the gym is always a great thing. And I don't care if you're gender, whatever, male, female, go to the gym. It's just going to benefit you if you do it properly. If you go there to socialize, you're wasting your time. But
yeah.
I don't know if I'm answering your question or not.
No,
I forgot what your question was.
Because most people that when they try to tell guys what they can do to better themselves, going to the gym. The reason why it's not just going to the gym, because I feel like people go to the gym, they have no plan or direction. I would say when you go, try to have a semblance of direction, try to have like a goal. Maybe you want to bench press like, I don't know, 220, 215, have goals on stuff. That'll make you actually try to consistently work and improve and have drive and determination to do better. This whole thing of like, just going to the gym won't work. Well, when you went, what did you do? Did you not commit to your workouts? Were you only going for like 30 minutes? Were you going and not trying on the machines? What were you doing? Because it's not the gym's fault. You have no more motivation. It's there as a tool to unstress you. I mean, there's a reason why women go there and try to lose fat consistently. It's image based. I'll say, guys, try that for being a guy. If you're more of a smaller guy, I would say when I would go to the gym and I looked muscular, made me feel better about myself. You just get a confidence boost in yourself. That's all you need, My
tagline for Top Fitness Strategies, and it's a plug here, is feel better, look better, gain some confidence. That's my tagline. And I focus more on the folks over 50 years old. And I say, if your goal is to show off your body on stage, I'm probably not the guy you want to talk with. Excuse me. That's a great goal I have. And I have a lot of friends who do that, even to this day. And even at my age, I have several friends who are fitness competitors and different levels, different classes. So I understand that world. But majority of the folks, especially the ones that I talk to and I train and I do stuff with, are not going to be looking to be on the gym. They just want to look better, feel better, gain some confidence, whether that be losing some weight or maybe getting off some sort of medication, which always consult your doctor before you do. Make sure you do that. At your age, you don't see many doctors. At my age, guys do all the time. So guys and girls, when I say that, do that all the time.
You think I have healthcare? California.
That's right. You're in California. I forgot. Oh, yeah. You guys are.
I haven't been sick in a very long time. Ever since the whole certain virus thing, I've not really been sick ever. There was one time I had some head cold. That wasn't because I was sick. It was because I opened my mouth when I was sleeping and I had and it was the dry heat from the cooler that made me sick. But I wasn't like sneezing, sore throat. It was most like, this will go over in a couple of days.
So do you live in Northern California or Southern California?
I think we're considered Southern. Yeah, we're considered Southern.
Okay.
Because I'm like 2 hours away from LA, so I don't know what that's considered. I'm pretty sure that's Southern.
2 hours north, I assume?
I think so. I'm not good with directions. That's why I need Google Maps.
So, okay, I was going to say, so are you closer to San Francisco then?
No. I'm closer to LA, Redlands, San Diego, actually.
Okay, you're Southern. You're Southern. Okay.
Well, I knew
you're south. If you're closer to San Diego, you're south of LA. Okay. All right.
My God, there's a lot of girls. Man, we went out to San Diego this night. There was a single lady bar, older lady, because older ladies can kind of do it better, if you know what I mean. They know how to do everything.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, like the younger girls are fine, like 20-year-olds are cool, but like, damn, this girl was single. And I swear she was single too. Asked her, this guy dropped $300 on her on a tip, and she couldn't go with him because he was married. He said, "Oh, I'm married, I can't do that." I was like, yeah, that's pretty respectable. You don't see that average. Most guys would just take her. But he was like, hey, I'm married. I was like, okay. I had a chance right there to talk to her. I was like, hey, what are you into? Failed. Just completely just ignored me. I was like, holy shit. I never failed that hard
Hey,
to win
what
my
are
life.
you into? Is that the
Yeah,
is that the way you guys?
I choked. I choked so hard. I was so nervous. I was staring at this girl. She not staring at her. I was like giving the side eye, probably like all night. I was like, damn, I'm gonna get my chance. I got my chance. He was right there, and I messed up. Horror. I just choked harder than the fucking Dodgers did back in 2021. Holy crap.
So you're a Dodger fan, obviously.
Love me some Clayton Kershaw. Hey, we did win this year. I'm happy.
That's right. That's right.
The Lakers, we'll see how it goes.
And I don't follow basketball at all. And now I used to live in Indianapolis back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. It was cool to live in Indianapolis if you for the Pacers. Pacers were awesome in the 90s, and the whole city was behind them. I mean, you'd literally come up to a stop sign or stoplight and roll the windows down, and usually people listen to music. Not during the Pacer game. People everywhere had the radio on listening to Pacer game. It was just nuts. And the city would just come together during Pacer games. I was at a club during the 90s, during the Pacer game, and they had a small TV in the back or somewhere in the place. And it was when into overtime, they turned off the music and put the sound for the TV through the speakers. Everybody's watching the game at a club to watch the overtime. It was just wild. The camaraderie, what was going on back then. But I'm probably one of the only kids who grew up in Indiana could care less about basketball. I was a bartender when the Pacers were
you were a bartender.
Heyday.
Okay.
I was a bartender.
That's why you met all those women. That makes sense.
So my income started going up during Pacer games. So I jumped on the Pacer bandwagon, baby. I loved it. It was great. But to this day, I couldn't tell you anymore who's on there. But back in the 90s, it was fun to be a Pacer fan. Absolutely.
So since you lived through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and most of 2000s,
70s, I was a little kid. All right, keep that in mind. I was a little kid. 70s. So
which decade did you like more, 80s or the 90s?
Oh, 80s by far.
Okay.
That's basically when I grew up, high school and college, all through the 80s. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's when I turned from a boy to a man, so to speak. Now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's why I had fun in life. In the 90s, I started getting into businesses and things of that sort and working and stuff.
What inspired you to do what you're doing now? Did you watch a person on like YouTube or like, I want to be a podcaster?
I was always into trying to develop some sort of side hustle back before it was even called side hustles. I was constantly looking to do something to generate money. My lifelong goal is to be hog nasty rich. Honestly, that's my lifelong goal. Haven't really achieved it yet. And it depends on what your term of hog nasty rich is. Okay. Put it that way. I haven't hit the hog nasty rich part, but through that, I started getting into the internet, and I in the early 2000s, ebooks started to come online, or people writing books and everything else. I was in the mortgage business. I wrote an ebook. I didn't know how to do, or I wrote a book, and I didn't know it was called an ebook at the time. I did it all online. And so I sought after some other folks who were doing it, and I started mentoring with people who were marketing stuff online little by little. And from that one book, I started doing interviews or writing on a weekly basis with email subscriptions, things of that sort, before it was like it is now. This was 25 years ago. And through that, I said, you know what? I want to start doing recording something. And that's when Free Conference Call came out, or Conference Call, then it was Free Conference Call. So I started using that and just interviewing different people in different walks of life. It wasn't fitness related at all at that time. It was just business related. If somebody had some sort of online business, I started talking to them or interviewing them. Then little by little, it morphed into more of a health and fitness type thing, because I started interviewing more people in that line. And that's when it morphed into I call it the interview series and the fitness edition. Then through job wise, I moved from different parts of the country, and I lost track of it. And I came back with it several years ago. No. Just different walks of life led me to different parts of the country. I lived in Indianapolis, Cleveland, West Palm Beach, Florida, Inglewood, Florida, and now small town Indiana. So I've been around the Midwest. I've never been out to your way other than a quick vacation.
You prefer small town or big towns?
Now the small towns.
Yeah.
Back when I was your age, I lived in Indianapolis and Cleveland. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely. But now, no, the hustle and bustle, and I literally live in a town where I have tractors all around me. I live in a farm community. So yeah. So
Good Lord.
it's a whole different ball game where I come from. And where you come from, and I had this discussion with somebody several years ago who was from San Francisco. And I said, for me, it's nothing to go to the grocery store and see a guy with a gun on his hip, a pistol on his hip, because that's the way life is around here. You go to any place. I don't have a concealed carry permit. All my friends do. Most people that I know are packing heat, so to speak, walking around. Oh yeah, almost everybody I know does.
Me never. Yeah. I know there are people that I know that love guns. They're like enthusiastic about guns. I shot a gun, the basic gun that most cops use. I was going to be a cop at one point, and I was like, you know what? I don't think this is for me. It wasn't about like the experience of it. It's just like, you want to do something, and you're like, I don't know if this is for me, honestly. So that's the only time I ever shot a gun was at doing this police thing I was doing back when I was younger. I was like, I never got this fascination of why people loved guns. I mean, guns are cool. I like them. I like them myself. But like our state, you can't open carry because our governor is just, well, certainly one of the human beings of all time. Let's just say that. God, man, they want you to like not have any weapons and then get attacked, and then they want to blame you for getting attacked. It just makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Did you see a video on Facebook? A guy was getting tracked on his Lamborghini, and the people came up with ski masks, and he pulled out one of those bazookas.
No, I haven't seen that.
Not they drove off so fast. Like, that's what would happen. Imagine if he didn't have that. Just imagine that. Crazy.
That's an everyday thing around here. I mean, you borrow somebody's car, you have to ask them, say, do you have a gun in the glove box I need to worry about in case I get pulled over? Because most people, I don't, because I don't have a permit, but most people I know carry guns in their glove box in their car.
Because you do teaching, right?
Yeah.
So as far as like being a teacher, so to speak, and you actually teach the fitness stuff too. Which one do you think can have the information hit easier when you're trying to push it onto people? As like when you're trying to convey some of your teaching ways to somebody, which one do you think generally has the more easier time of landing on people?
I guess I'm not. Do you mean over like a method like we're doing here, or face to face?
Yeah, face to face. I would say, yeah.
There are two totally different atmospheres there. Two totally different atmospheres. We can. This is not considered face to face, but actually it is, because you and I are talking face to face. If I had a group of folks on this platform, even though we're not physically in the same place, I'll be talking face to face. Is it more difficult to teach that way? Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to teach a subject, it's always better to have it in a group setting, if you ask me. But you can only reach a finite number of people that way. You can only talk to so many people in a classroom or so many people in an auditorium. Whereas this method, of course, and this is preaching to the choir, you know this more than anybody, you can reach gazillion people in 5 minutes. So what's more effective? I guess it all depends on the person taking the information. And basically, there's a Chinese proverb, I do believe, it says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Keep that in mind. So it doesn't matter if you're the teacher, I'm the teacher, or Mr. Joe Lunchbucket is the teacher. He can teach till he's blue in the face, but until the student wants to take it in, that student's not going to learn anything, regardless of what the platform is. Yeah.
Because the teacher always gets blamed. I know it's like,
oh, absolutely they do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, you get all the praise if the student pops off, but if the student does not pop off, it's all your fault. That's I hate life sometimes.
Oh yeah. And going full circle with this conversation, and me being a single guy teaching at a high school, it's a whole different ballgame, because if I look at somebody the wrong way, whether it's male or female, especially the females, they can turn around and say, hey, Mr. P looked at me funny. And all of a sudden, because I'm the single guy, it's my fault, and I'm on the evening news. So have to watch that.
I would imagine teaching kids of this generation was much different than the teaching you had when you were younger.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They have tablets for schools now.
Oh, yeah. When I was in school, if I said something wrong or looked crossways at the teacher, my dad found out, boy, I was in major trouble. Nowadays, if a student looks crosswise at the teacher, all of a sudden the parent comes in and yells at the teacher. It's a total different ball game.
Good gosh, man. Freaking.
Have you seen the movie Coach Carter?
Yeah, I love that movie with
Yeah,
Samuel Jackson, right? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Now, my mom and dad both came from Italy, so my dad doesn't know anything about basketball. He passed a couple years ago, doesn't know anything about basketball. But him and I watched that movie one day. Again, he knows nothing about basketball.
Yeah.
Halfway through the movie, he says that's the kind of coach every high school should have, because my dad was big on academics and discipline. Those two big things my dad was. He says that coach, he would back him 100%. That scene where he puts the chain on the gym
the
door,
grades fell down.
My dad would have provided the chain and made sure it was double locked. My dad would have been there doing that. That's how my dad was. Yeah,
in the movie, he didn't even want them going out and drinking and partying with women. He just wanted them to practice more. And
they were in high school, of course not. You don't go with women, but not do something that's going to be stupid. Yeah.
I like. Looking back now, that was probably one of the best movies I had watched.
It's a great movie.
Long time, yeah.
It's a great movie.
You know, it's weird now when it comes to coaching. There was a video I saw on Twitter where a coach had gotten fired because he was being too hard on the students, but he wasn't doing any. If you actually hear the audio, he wasn't saying anything bad at all. He said, "Hey, I don't like how our performance has been going. We need to put in more hours." And that gets someone fired? What? So how can you coach when you're limited with what you can say to people?
I had a friend of mine who, when I worked out at the gym when I lived in Indianapolis, he was a former Notre Dame football player. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't know, it's just irrelevant. But he played for the 1988 Notre Dame national championship team. And at the time, they had a football coach named Lou Holtz. If you know anything about college football, Lou Holtz is like a god in football, especially around my area. And Lou Holtz was everything, 5'2", 5'3", something like that. And this guy who I was friends with, 6'2", 6'4", had a body like a Greek god. I mean, he's a defensive lineman or something like that. I said, "How was Coach Holtz when you played for him?" He said he scared the piss out of us. He'd grab our face mask and pull us down like this and just yell right in our face and throw us back. He said he scared the piss out of us, but we respected him and we all loved him. Yeah. Nowadays, you can't do that. No, you touch a player, you're in trouble.
Good Lord, man. Just getting up in a player's face and yelling at them if they played badly is considered toxic. It's like,
oh yeah,
these people wouldn't survive. They're so lucky things change so much. And that's the reason why I would say people have gotten more soft now. They've just essentially ruined everything. I'm not saying that being an asshole is always super effective, but if you have no one in your life that's stern with you, then you won't know what hard consequences are or how to act this or there's many things like if someone just is going through life with just like the most easiest time and everything, no one challenges them, they don't get pressed on anything. You see it happen with kids now. They just all melt down and have complete mental breakdowns. Someone disagrees with them. It's like, what life have you had? It baffles me when some of these kids break down. It's like, what were your parents? They failed you bad.
Oh yeah. That basically is what it is. Yeah. And the teachers, their hands are tied a lot of times because the school board, and I'm not going to say all school boards are like this because there's some are coming around, but they will cow down to the parents and the lack of discipline. Because the parents will basically get them fired or whatever they think is. So it's a whole different ballgame now than when I was in school, and I'm sure it's different from when you were in school as well.
Oh yeah, because you have your health and fitness YouTube channel. You have the podcast for Popcorn and Whiskey. What recently have you watched then, as far as like entertainment, or you don't watch entertainment like that anymore? You just talk about different stuff.
Talk about different stuff. I mean, of course, last couple of years has been all the election and political stuff, which I think you and I are basically, we lean toward the same way.
Pretty sure you were very happy with what just happened.
Absolutely. Right there, 45, 47. Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't want to wear I had the MAGA hat. I didn't want to wear that initially. I was like, I don't know if this guy is a fucking Joe Biden lover. He might just gonna yell at me. But yeah, he ended up winning massively. You've been through a lot of presidential elections. I'm pretty sure you've never seen this too. I've never seen basically 47 or 46 out of the 50 states we have basically just thoroughly reject somebody. As far as like the left and everything that they've been pushing on people, like calling people buzzwords like misogynist, racist, homophobe, all that stuff. Kamala Harris's bullshit. We just had a hurricane, and she said, "Well, these people that lost everything can apply for the $750 loan, giving like billions of dollars to Ukraine." What is?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't get me
She
started with
shitted
that
on
one.
religion. I got so many things. All the things she's running on was just like abortion. Oh, you can like abort your future grandkids. It's like, well, since half the country's religious, yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of religious people won't like that. Crazy. Absolutely.
There was
insane.
the two hurricanes that hit Florida, basically, 2 weeks apart. They hit where I used to live in Florida, Englewood, Florida. That's where they hit. And there's literally houses and whole subdivisions completely wiped out. I mean, there's nothing left. And I'm not saying a house got a roof knocked off or a wall knocked off. Houses were floated away. There's nothing left. It looks like a desert out there. It's just nuts, all the pictures. And then when you hear, well, we're going to give another $1 billion to Ukraine. What? These folks lost everything, and United States citizens. How about helping them out a little bit? But
yeah, like growing up, we had a saying that was like, make sure you take care of yourself first before you take care of anybody else. And I realized in life in life outside of growing up, that was always flipped. It's always take care of other people while you yourself suffer and have to be starving and homeless. Like what? That makes no sense. Like there are people out there like just have their lives destroyed, and she's like, we got to go through Congress for it. You gotta go through Congress for the Russia bullshit you're telling us.
Exactly.
Makes no sense. And then people will hear what we're saying right now and call us crazy. No, we're the crazy ones suggesting you should help out the people that are living here first. No, we're crazy for that. That makes you're brainwashed. They're tricking you. And the thing is, I don't mind helping someone out. And maybe their situation is bad over there. But let's be honest here, they probably don't give a fuck if we live or die over here.
No, of course they don't.
Yeah,
of course they don't.
Israel one's a little bit different because we are technically their ally. That one makes a little bit more sense if we're talking about treaty-wise. The Russian one makes no sense for us to be involved in at all. Yeah,
none whatsoever. And I'm sure you got some political mind somewhere that can make the argument, and they would make it sound fantastic. But in my mind, like you said, let's take care of our land first, everything here first, then we can help out others.
I'm pretty sure you saw that Trump video he put out today on Twitter where he says he's going to help the veterans. Guys, people that gave their entire
I haven't seen that one yet. No, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I'll link it to you after we're done. He's going to do something massive for the veterans, because we just had Veterans Day, and there are veterans out there that are homeless, like people that gave their entire lives so we could basically be able to do what we're doing right here. Those people are homeless and treated like shit. Like, no, there's certain things I would probably say no, don't give them that, because that could be a very bad thing in terms of like privilege and government. No, veterans should get everything they're asking for. They make sure you're able to live. The way you're able to live in America right now, they make sure you're able to do that. They get everything they're asking for. If they want healthcare, the best possible healthcare, give it to them. Best possible food, anything they want. Maybe you pay off their bills. I don't care. The fact that they're homeless over some illegals that are coming over here, no. Like, thank God Trump is president. We just have sanity back. This is just basic human decency. Even if someone disagrees, right or left, we should probably at least come to the agreement that veterans should deserve better than what they're getting right now.
Absolutely. Dude, why do you live in California? You got to.
I was born here.
Yeah, so.
I wanted to see. I have this thing about me where I wanted to game even though it's pretty rigged to live on your own out here, and it's pretty bad. I wanted to prove that even though it's really bad out here, you could do it, because I had this sixth sense of bullshit about me, and I did manage to do it. So that's I wanted to prove it. Like, I don't care how rigged your system is. I'll pull through it. I don't care.
Good.
It was pretty rough.
It was obviously bad. You do a lot online, and if this is a question you don't want to answer online, I get it. But what do you have a full-time job outside of being online?
Oh yeah, I have a 9 to 5. I'm going to work tomorrow. I get up at 6. Yeah, I'm gonna get up at 6. We work at 7, so we're 7 to 3.
Do you mind asking what do you do?
Work in a restaurant.
Doing the server or what?
Pretty much everything. You can probably ask everything.
Hey, all through the 90s, server bartender right here. Absolutely. Hey,
I make enough money to pay all my bills, and I'm good. It's one thing I have been doing bad recently. I'm having overspending. But have you ever got paid and you've spent so much money, you're waiting to get paid, but you don't have to live like that if you just saved up money. But I've been basically kind of splurging a lot more than I used to. I'm like, okay, I got to stop doing that. I don't have to live like this. I'm just choosing to at that point.
Right. But here's the key point, and you just said it. You're choosing to. there's too many people out there that don't realize that they have a choice to not do it. They just want to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. But
Yeah.
obviously you have a good head on your shoulders because you already realize, like you just said, I choose to do it. Do I have to? No. So
Mhm.
that's good. You realize that already. That's a good thing.
I had
Most
to
people
write
don't
down.
realize that until they get older. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to write down. Okay, I need to obviously pay rent, obviously pay food, and then
Mhm.
whatever's left over, then we kind of just deal with that. Yeah, so like going into the holiday season, it gets pretty big in the holiday season. But after
Mhm.
that, the reason why I know I have to conserve more money now is because when January hits, January and February are the deadest months in the year. Yeah,
Mhm.
January, February, and when kids go back to school, which is what, August, September?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
September
August,
now.
September. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the state's terrible, and it was almost going to go red this time around, but the cities that vote blue will just make up for it. So it doesn't
Yeah.
even matter. Like 95% of California could vote red, but if Sacramento, San Diego, Los Angeles all vote like blue, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. That's so
Unfortunately.
bad. Yeah, San Francisco's voting blue. That's just
Yeah.
they love their chicks with dicks over there. Good
But
God.
there's a lot more red this time than it was last time.
Nearly all red. That was
Yeah,
surprising to
yeah.
me. I didn't.
Did you see the stat that came out a couple days ago that every state that Vice President Harris won, and I call her Vice President Harris because I don't know if it's supposed to be Kamala or Kamala, and I don't want to get sued for it, so I call her Vice President Harris.
I've always preferred trash, but yeah, that's with me.
Okay. Did you notice or did you see the stat that every state that she won or the states that had no ID, you didn't have
I
to
did
show
see
ID?
that. Yeah.
Isn't that like
Just
what? Uh-huh. That's
they
it.
did that
You guys
preemptively to
something to do.
cheat. They
Yeah.
did that preemptively to cheat and
Mhm.
rig, but it didn't work because it was too big to rig.
Yep.
They, even if they didn't rig it before, the only other thing that I could possibly come up with for Trump was that maybe he underestimated how many people actually hated him when he won in 2016. Because you know what people said about Joe Biden? You remember this, dude. The common thing about the reason why they voted for Joe Biden was because they didn't like Trump. It was because they liked
Mhm.
him. So people ruined the entire country for 4 years because they didn't want that guy in office over the other guy. And obviously, Trump was
Right.
clearly better. People can see right now he was clearly better. That's
Oh,
not a
yeah.
debate, right? That's
Yep.
why I think people shouldn't be like. This is why people say women shouldn't vote and all that stuff. People are voting with their emotions. The fact that people went and put this country through hell for 4 years because of their emotions, they got all their fucking underwear in a knot because they didn't like
Mhm.
another guy. Voting, I hope there's something of a change there. Like we're
Mhm.
going through a renaissance right now, which is good. It's a nice little honeymoon phase, and I hope it lasts forever. I hope the next people that come in are just as good as Trump or
Oh,
even
yeah.
better. But
Yeah.
there's going to be a point where if they don't like a certain person, they might just put another person as bad as Joe Biden in office and ruin everything for people just because they don't like the other guy, and that's just petty. You just
Yeah.
ruin so many people's lives.
We don't have to worry about that in 4 years though, because
Yeah. You
Trump's
got a
not
little
going
4-year
gangbusters
reprieve.
now. That's right. So what is going on with these chicks who are cutting their hair and going bald or something? It's called 4D or 4B or something like that. Have you seen this all over the internet?
Yeah. So
What
I
is
heard
that?
of that in Korea a long time ago because in League of Legends, Korea is very, very involved because
Okay.
they like will win everything because they're just gods apparently at League because they're good at video games. It's basically just a glorified abstinence movement. No sex before marriage. Don't look attractive for men with like no makeup. There's a few other ones that I kind of forgot about, but those are the two main ones. No sex before marriage and no makeup. And look as unattractive to men as possible. But isn't that the reverse of what everyone told these women for years? So if that's what's crazy. That means these
Mhm.
women, I don't know who they were sleeping with, probably in 10s and 20s. They were just letting any guy just fuck them. Are you
Mhm.
all it took was Trump getting elected was to fit. I don't want to have sex with 10 guys a week. No shit, we've been telling you that for like years. And people say women should vote. Those women were allowed to vote in election. That's crazy. That's mind-blowing. That Trump becoming president changed women. That means whatever you were doing for Fisherwood didn't matter. Just all happened that Trump needed to be voted in office.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's shocking at the school I teach in, and you're hearing some of the kids, and they can't vote. Most of them
Yeah.
only a few
16.
seniors
Yeah.
can, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the ones who don't, especially the women, especially the young girls,
Mhm.
almost all of them are pro-Trump. It's
Really?
the
That's
weirdest thing. Oh, yeah.
crazy.
And I don't ask in my class, and I don't bring
Yeah.
up politics, but once you can hear them talking amongst themselves, walking up down the hall, almost everybody I hear is pro-Trump. There's a
The
few teachers that are
change.
just the opposite. I mean, they're I'm
Mhm.
surprised they haven't shaved their head yet. A few teachers, but
It's just the change
yeah.
from then till now is so just my God. And I'm glad the kids now understand what they're learning might be some bullshit. Because back in 2020, when some of these kids were a little bit younger, probably like seventh, eighth grade, Twitter was suppressed. Remember,
Mhm.
there were government agents that paid the older Twitter workers to suppress information. Twitter not being suppressed this time around, I think really changed things
Mhm.
massively. I think it probably was the biggest thing that made people change their minds because you could see all the bullshit. Because when you tell someone, "Hey, MSNBC lied about something," they're gonna be like, "Prove it." Well, here's Twitter. Here's where I can show you they lied.
Mhm.
They don't like that. They don't like the Elon Musk bought Twitter. It exposes all of them. I'm glad
Yep.
because when
Yep.
Trump got in office, he exposed all of them. They didn't like getting exposed. They wanted to keep this charade up for years. No one's going to challenge them. They controlled everything, but he came in, challenged everything, and now he's in charge. What a man!
Absolutely.
That's how you do
Absolutely.
it. He exposed Hillary.
Absolutely.
Once he exposed Hillary Clinton for that tax bullshit she did, I was like, okay, that's all right. That's you gotta give me the fist bump for that one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This and I love the people that he's putting in the different offices now.
Yeah,
I think he announced today at Christy Nome from South Carolina, South Dakota, the governor.
he
He
announced the
put her
border
in
guy.
charge of. Yeah, I love Christy Nome. Now, granted, she's hot. That helps. But I love
That
her.
does help a lot. Yeah.
But
The
I
border
think she's hot.
guy he put up, the
Oh,
videos of
he's
him just
great.
bodying AOC when she's talking some bullshit is just
Oh yeah, he's
God. Like
great.
this the mass deportation thing has to be the most bit of misinformation bullshit they ever made about him. He literally
Hmm.
said he wants to secure the border because that's a lot of Americans because he goes and
Hmm.
talks to the American people. So what they want. A lot of people don't feel safe with that open. I'm sorry, they don't,
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be
yeah.
open because you know what's crazy that I learned, man. No, there's no other country has what we have. Their
No.
borders are closed. You have to try to get within with them. Us,
Hmm.
we're just allowed to keep it open because reasons like no. He want to make sure illegals are gone, like murderers, rapists, to fentanyl, all that stuff gone. Like if someone
Hmm.
has a green card, guys, they can't deport you. You're legally allowed to be here. Not you're not a citizen, but you're like legal to be here. If the
Right.
person was living here and they didn't even bother getting a green card, like I'm sorry, you probably have to leave then. You weren't even doing the basic minimum of being here,
Hmm.
you know? Like how am I going to feel sorry for that? You maybe had 10, 12, 20 plus years to get at least get a green card. And you didn't do that. I'm
And
sorry.
here's the thing that the people are missing out there, and I know this from experience. I know some people who
Mhm.
actually done this. Now they're citizens now, but they come here. Unfortunately, they came here illegally. Some of them did. However you think of that,
Mhm.
whatever. It's not so much coming here illegally. It's then once you're here, you're taking away from everybody else. At least contribute to society. There's got to be millions of folks here who are here illegally, who have decent, good paying jobs, whatever you want to look at it, who
Yeah.
are not a burden to the society. Those are not the people he's going to be going after.
Yeah.
Let's keep that straight. Could he? Absolutely. But it's the ones who are basically taking all the stuff from the government for free and
Yeah. The ones
causing
in New York.
trouble.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are going to be gone. I mean,
Yeah. That's the thing
use some
is
common sense, folks. Come on now.
if they look into some of those people and they have good paying jobs and they are contributing, I would work on getting them a citizenship because they've proven, even though it is illegal and it is kind of breaking the law, at least they're trying to be a good person, right? Because some people
Hmm.
have said the system is too slow to get it. Okay, if the system's too slow, then let's try to fast forward it. Let's try to fix it, you know?
Right,
But that
right.
doesn't mean just keep the border open because that system can be fixed. Like, as you saw about Trump, you can just fix something if you really want to. That's the problem with the left and a lot of Republicans previously. They would constantly, for years, talk about a problem, talk about a problem. Can we like fix the problem at this point?
Hmm.
I understand talk about it. I understand we gotta have hard conversations. Fine. But at some point, we need to fix it. Can we fix
Hmm.
these problems? You know, today he announced Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are going to be Doge. They're going to be the taking down the bureaucracy. They wanted to get rid of the Department of Education. I don't know how that affects you because that's the teaching thing, but he said he's going to put it up to the state. So I'm
Up to
pretty
the
sure
states,
you're going to
right?
be fine.
Right, up
Yeah.
to the states where it
What does the
should be.
Department of Education do? Could you tell me? Like I heard,
I
only heard
don't
about
know.
like I
I
don't know
could,
either. What do they
I
What do they
couldn't,
do?
I couldn't tell you. Because as far as I know, I mean, each state is independently done, but they have to go through
Yeah,
whatever. But no, give it back to the states. Let each state do it like they need to do it.
yeah.
Simple as that. It's like if something needs to be tightened and you need a wrench or a screwdriver to do it, the government says, well, we have to get a committee to find what kind of wrench we need and who we can buy it for, and then who's going to actually turn the bolt or the screw. Trump comes along and says, I got a screwdriver. Boom, it's done. Let's move on.
Yep.
Basically, it's how it is.
That's all
he's
you
not
need.
gonna he's not gonna put up with all this crap. Let's get it done now and get it over with and move on.
I'm at, for the first time in my life in a very long time outside of his 2016 election, I'm looking forward to what America's going to be. These are a lot of good plans. The whole mass deportation, people factor in, if that person came over and they're putting drugs in here or they're a murderer or rapist, like, no, you got to leave. What the hell? Yeah. California's like, we're not going to participate in it. Well, cool, then let the state burn then, because you're just stupid. But everywhere else,
there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of folks. I don't say, when I say guys, I mean guys and girls or whatever, that are in prison already who are illegal in this country. Those are going to be the first ones to go. Those are going to be the easiest ones to go.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And they're full of them, and every state has them. I used to work in the county jail as a jailer. It was no fun, but I did, we had some illegals in there, but they got once they found out that they were illegal, they got out of there. It was just a county jail. But the state prisons and things of that sort, if they're here illegally, goodbye. They're going to be gone so quick. They'll be the first ones to go, which makes sense to me.
Did you see most of those girls that not because the girls shave their heads, and it's like there are girls with alopecia. Why are you shaving your head? What the heck? There's very few girls I know that can pull off a bald look. Very, very few. Most of the time, girls' bald just looks ugly as hell. Honestly, that's just, man, my God, girls have been lied to so hard. There were many tweets after he became president. One girl was like, how can I go to work knowing that half the country voted for me to have less rights? What rights are you losing? Go live in Saudi Arabia if you think you have no rights here.
Like, hey, that chick in the movie Black Panther, that one, the bald chick in there, she's hot.
Oh, Lupita?
I don't remember the names, but like his sidekick or his partner there, or whatever. Not a sister, but the one fighting next to him. Yeah, she's hot.
She's me, no.
Chick, she is hot.
Good Lord. I would throw myself out of the building. Just yeet. So, last few things I'll ask you, man. It was great to have you on for the first time. Talk to you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
First thing is, do you have anything planned coming up in 2024, going into 2025? You want to let the audience know about?
Yeah, I'm putting together a new program for the Top Fitness Strategies. I'm going to be releasing it in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be nothing I've ever seen before online, so I don't know if it's going to take off or not. And I really haven't divulged a whole lot about it yet, so we'll see how it goes. But look forward to the next couple of weeks. Follow me on Top Fitness Strategies. Look me up on YouTube, and you'll see what it's all about. That's what I got.
Oh yeah, man. Next thing, and the final thing I ask you is, do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular, and any other closing thoughts or statements you want to bring up for you in the show?
Oh, geez. Outside of myself, gee, they caught me off guard with that one. It is shout outs. No, I can't say I do. No, you caught me off guard with that one. I'm sure as soon as I hang up, I'm going to have 20 different ones, but shout outs
to Joe Biden for losing as hard as they did.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Absolutely. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be in this position. So I got
gave that speech. Remember you gave that speech a few days ago? It was all coherent and not trash. And I was like, this guy been trolling us?
Yeah. Here's this Arizona. What's going on with you guys? How come you haven't finished counting your votes yet? Arizona.
It's like, dude. They're like, we're still counting. It doesn't even matter if you do. And actually, I know I've heard from rumors that she wants to like recount whatever. Didn't she call him up and say you win? I'm pretty sure if someone calls you and says you win, pretty sure that's
Lake?
forfeit.
Oh no, Carrie Lake. As far as I know, she hasn't conceded yet. They still have like 300,000 votes to count, but they say that she can't get enough. But still, Arizona, count your votes for crying out loud. Yeah, there you go.
Hell yeah. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show, and we will